Ladies and gentlemen.
I can't really heard what Jeremy says because I got my 2 Stanley Cup rings right in my ear.
Introduce.
This is a guy that's going to be traded, though.
You're an announcer with a long stick from time to time.
You think it's my fault? Is that what you're saying? This guy's such an idiot here.
The Puck Luck Fantasy Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Puck Luck Fantasy Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Sudemans, and right over there is your other host, Derek Sudemans. Today we're going to be breaking down the 4-game slate on DraftKings. Don't forget, check out our website, puckluckfantasy.com is where you will find all of our picks, our value plays, our stacks, goalie rankings, lots of great stuff there. Check it out. Follow us on Twitter, and let's get into the first game between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers. We got Murray projected and Elliott projected. Murray's a decent goalie tonight. He is our 4th rated guy. We have him in our tier 2 out of 4 tiers. He's a decent pick tonight. And Elliott, not so much. He's our 2nd last rated goalie. I would stay away from Elliott. Not much value in picking him. What do you got for stacks for this game?
Not a whole lot. A little bit surprising because we know that the Philadelphia, they lost Couturier potentially yesterday. I actually want to look that up. Do you want to see if he's in yet?
Yeah, I'll check that.
Because if he is out, that means that, you could look a little bit to... Okay, so it looks like he might be in actually. So with that being said, that lines up with what I researched this morning. I kind of assumed he would be in. And so with that being said, they'll line up heavily against that Crosby line. And so there's not really a whole lot to like from this game because of that. Everyone's at really expensive price tags, and they're both decently... Philadelphia is decently good defensive team usually. They've struggled in the playoffs for the first couple of games here, but you saw they did turn it around for that one game. But hopefully they'll be able to contain most of the Penguins this game, because I will be fading most of the Penguins tonight. And really, most of the Flyers tonight, too. None of them really pop up high enough for me to use them. So it's not a lot to like here.
Yeah, and even on D, I mean, if you need a one-off to pair with Murray, Mata is a good value pick. So to fill out your lineups, Murray and Mata, maybe they fill out good, but that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, you could, Provorov is sort of up there. But he's really the only other defenseman that I've really saw that I would use.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to use him unless you're pairing him maybe with a goalie.
It's okay with defensemen, because if he's your last defenseman, they don't necessarily have to pair with the goalie.
True.
Really the goalie correlation is only really if it works. You just got to mostly avoid picking the goalie that's against the opponents for that. But yeah, it is sometimes nice to get that correlation. But yeah, that'd be the only real play for a defenseman.
Okay, let's move on to the second game between the Tampa Bay Lightning and New Jersey Devils. We got Vasilevsky projected and Schneider projected. And in this goalie matchup, we like Vasilevsky, 3rd favorite goalie. He's in that tier 2 with Murray. Schneider, not so much. He's one you really want to stay away from. He's our last rated goalie. So, stay away from him. Let's get to the stacks.
Yeah, so just looking at the stacks, this one was pretty interesting when I was looking up this morning. I wasn't sure how the Hall line would be used, or if they would try to get them away from the Lightning players. And so what they have, what's going on here is the Lightning are using the point line, their second line, to be their shutdown line, basically. So what they're doing is the Devils are now trying to get the Hall line to avoid that line. So the Hall line is seeing a little bit of the Stamkos line, they're seeing a little bit of the third line, and they're seeing a little bit of the fourth line. And so what that means is the Hall line is a little bit more valuable because of that, because they're avoiding that sort of shutdown role.
Yeah, and they're at home, so they're able to do that.
Exactly. So I've weighted them very heavily in terms of getting away from the the matchup that Tampa Bay wants.
Yeah.
And so you see that they are actually our third top valued stack of the night, the Hischier, Palmieri, and Hall. So I'm going to be getting quite a lot of exposure to that line. They're one of my favorites of the night. They're right up there. So you can also do Vatanen with them because he's also extremely high up in our value rankings today.
Yeah, he plays on that power play 2 with Hischier.
Right.
As well.
So that works as well. And that's a little bit more sneaky as well. Even if you just want to do the mini stack of Vatanen and Hischier there, that could work out for you. Now, on the terms of the Tampa Bay side, they really don't show up very high as well. It looks like New Jersey's defense at home is actually pretty good. So that is why they aren't really showing up as high as we've seen them for the past couple of games. But if you did want to go to Tampa Bay, the top one is the Point, Palat, and Johnson line. So that would be the only one I would really go to. I'm going to have to fade the Stamkos, Kucherov, and Miller line tonight, unfortunately. So hopefully they won't do too much damage. And I'm really just banking on the Hall line for this game.
All right, and I'll mention real quick, John Moore actually also plays with Hischier on that second power play unit, and he is decent value tonight. So if you needed a cheaper guy to fill out the end of that stack with Hall, Hischier, and Palmieri, you could throw Moore in.
Yeah, I suppose so. He's a little bit low for my liking to do that, but you could get away with that for sure. I just have to look at his ice time. I'm not sure how much even strength he's getting.
All right.
But yeah, he's up there. So if you need to look at him, take a look into him. Also, I just need to mention Hedman is also in a really good spot tonight. So if you need a one-off defenseman, maybe if you want to pair him with Vasilevsky, that's the guy to go to.
Right on. All right, heading on to Nashville Predators and Colorado Avalanche, where we have Rene projected and Bernier projected. Rene, he's also in that tier 2 with Vasilevsky, Murray, so no harm playing him. That's all right. And then Bernier, he's our second favorite goalie. Like we said the other night, Colorado's got a really good home defense, so that's why he does come up way in value at home as opposed to when they're away.
Yeah, that's true, and he's really cheap still. And also that Nashville shoots the puck a lot. So you can see he's expected to get 38 shots against, which is huge. So,
and I'm assuming they're a bit lower danger scoring.
Yeah, exactly. Because so our multiplier is what accounts for, so it looks at the team defense and then your goaltender skill. So you can see that even though Bernier is not as good of a goalie, the team defense pulls the multiplier up above 1. So that is why, that's definitely why he shows up as a really good value. Because if you can get a good multiplier there and you see a lot of shots, that's exactly what you need, especially for tournaments. Although now that he had a decent game in the last one, he might be a little bit more owned tonight. That's why I'm sort of going to Gibson. I think Gibson's going to be really, really under-owned tonight. So
yeah,
that's kind of what you got to look for a little bit when you're playing these games as well.
Okay, what do we got for stacks?
All right, so stacks are really like the top line from the Avalanche tonight. So we have Mikko Rantanen, Nathan MacKinnon, and Gabriel Landeskog. And what works extremely well with them is you should be pairing Tyson Barrie with them almost automatically with every single one of those stacks because he is right up near the top. He's only $5K right now, which is way too cheap for him. So make sure you get a lot of Barrie. You can even use Barrie and Bernier as little mini stacks to fill out your lineup, or just Barrie as a one-off, but make sure you're getting a ton of him into your lineups. On the Predator side of things, since we do have that line matching with Rantanen, McKinnon, and Landeskog, they're going to be heavily matched against the Johansson line. And so that opens up the exposure for the Fiala, Turris, and Smith. And they'll be seeing the sort of depth of, the Avalanche there. And so
that's
why
they might be switched. Oh, sorry, never mind.
I'm
looking at the power play unit. Fiala, Turris plays with Sissons and on the power play unit.
Okay, yeah.
So Smith isn't on there. He's on the top power play.
He's always been on the first one. So yeah. So if you're doing that line, you want to pair up it's Yossi with that Fiala, Turris, and Smith line there.
Yeah, and he's the top rated.
That's also what I was going to mention.
Value.
So if you can do a stack with them plus Yossi, that's another excellent way to start your lineup off. So that's the real main plays. I'm going to be off of that Johansson line just because we did talk about the matchup. So really, that's the only line that I'm targeting from the Predators.
All right. And you only were interested in that line 1 for Colorado? Nothing else on there?
Nothing really. There's like some ridiculously cheap ones, but they're too cheap to even get in there. So
yeah, for sure.
I probably won't be playing them.
Okay, well then let's head over to the Ducks and Sharks, where we have Gibson projected and Jones. Like we said, Gibson's our favorite goalie of the night. We want to really target him, as well as you're expecting them to be under-owned tonight with Sharks just up 3-0 on that series. People like to get excited about that and probably hope for the sweep or something.
Well, especially in the playoffs, people tend to go with like small streaks. And especially on goaltenders, like Gibson got caved in the last game, so that usually results in definitely in a lower usage the following night. So I'm going to be getting a lot of Gibson.
That's recency bias.
Yeah, recency bias, especially in the playoffs. So tons of Gibson in this line, and that works really well because he matches up with the top line of the day, which is Getzlaf, Ricard Raquel, and Andre Kasha, assuming they do keep them together. I noticed that, since they got destroyed in the last game, there's a possibility that they could shuffle up the lines. They like to put Perry up there occasionally, so you're definitely going to have to keep an eye on that if you before the game in the warm-ups. But if Kasha is up on that top line, I'm going to be getting a ton of him and the full line in general because they are the top-rated value line of the night. So that's going to be... that'll be mostly where I'm going. In terms of a defense that pairs really well with them, you can actually you can use Montour, but actually I was looking, and what I prefer to do tonight is to go with the other defenseman that they have, Lindholm, yeah. So he's on the second power play with Kasha there. And so what that does is it makes it a little bit sneakier, and that'll definitely be lower owned. And they're a really, really high valuable stack there. So that's going to be what I'm doing for my defense pairing with that line. Looking at there's not really a whole lot else to like in terms of stacks from this game. The only one that does pop up is the Henrique, Ritchie, and Corey Perry. They're just up there, but they're pretty cheap, so probably won't be going to them. But there is one from San Jose, which is Joe Pavelski, Jonas Donskoy, and Evander Kane. They're pretty expensive, and they're fairly high up on this rankings list here. So put them, and you pair Burns with them, and that's definitely going to get at least one of them tonight. I'm going to need to hedge against all of my Gibson somehow. So that'll be probably the way that I do that because they're in a good spot tonight too.
Right on. So let's just head on to our puck luck picks of the day, where you tell us your favorite stacks, then a high, medium, and cheap pick.
All right. So in terms of the individual players, top overall, I like Nathan MacKinnon at 7.7K there. In terms of sort of a expensive to medium pick, I'm going to go with Kyle Palmieri at 5.5K. In terms of a sort of medium to cheaper pick, it's not really that cheap, but I'm going to have to go with Ryan Getzlaf at 5.3K. That's really cheap for him on the road, especially. And then in terms of a really cheap play, I like Andre Kasha today. So that's ridiculously cheap at 3.6K for him. So if he's playing with them, definitely get him into your lineups. In terms of the overall stacks, the top one of the night is going to be that Getzlaf, Raquel, and Kasha line, assuming they are together. Then my second favorite of the night is the McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog line. And then I have one mini stack that I really like for tonight, which is Lindholm and Kasha.
Right on. So let's wrap things up. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Stitcher channel, follow us on Twitter, and check out our website. You can enter in your email there and be eligible for a discount next year when we are up and running. And thank you for watching.